Welcome back to Arizona Daily Mix. Now, this is something I didn't really think about, and if you are a large business or a small business, you really need to think about, and that is ad fraud, and that's where Paul Robertson comes in. Paul, how are you today?
Doing well yourself?
Good. And I said Robertson, it's Roberts, Paul Roberts, and I was a little nervous because I want to make sure I say the company right, but it's Kubient.
Correct.
Okay. First of all, what's Kubient mean? Just the wording?
It really has no meaning. The challenge these days is finding a great company name that the domain is available. So, a couple of years back when we started the company, we looked at all these different names and Kubient stuck. We really liked it.
There it is. I like that. Just Kubient. Perfect.
I wish I had a better story for you. I'll try to come up with a better one.
I know down the line you will. Well, I'll tell you right now, I was asking before we came on, ad fraud, and I never thought, what is ad fraud for those that might kind of like wonder, like me?
Sure. So, ad fraud is a massive problem, that's expected to grow to about $100 billion over the next couple of years. And what it is these criminals create bots. So bots are, simply little pieces of code that are injected to the internet, and they mimic everybody's behavior. So they're going to take somebody like myself, 3 little kids, live in a house here in New York, and they're going to mimic my behavior online. They're going to go to certain websites. They're going to go check out the Yankees and the Rangers because I'm from New York. And that bot actually starts to pick up fingerprints of human behavior. Okay, I went to the New York Times. I went to this website. That bot is then directed to a website with advertising on it that the criminals control. So then all of a sudden an ad for Ford or Visa or your local laundromat pops up. And those brands are paying for that advertisement. The issue is bots aren't buying cars yet or having their laundry done. So the brands are basically wasting their money to advertise to somebody who's not a real human. So that's a huge problem.
And so what happens is, say for instance, I'm, let's say, okay, we're the Arizona Daily Mix, and we want to get our ads out there. I'll go to these kind of people and go, hey, listen, you know what? Yeah, help us out doing some marketing. We're going to pay you a lot of money, but they're not actually hitting the people that we need to hit. Is that what's going on?
Correct. So you want somebody who's actually going to tune in and watch your show. The challenge is that some of those advertisements are being seen by bots. And you're paying for that advertisement, but in reality, you're not getting the return on the investment dollar.
Wow. And that's where you guys come in to help fight this, which is so important. How does that work?
Sure. So when you decide to advertise to myself or anybody else for that matter online, it happens within a 300 millisecond window of time. So all these servers and machines are talking, saying, okay, here's who I have on this website. I want to serve an ad. The challenge is that no other companies to date have really been able to use machine learning to identify whether or not it's human or a bot in that very specific time period. So that's what our team has been focused on, building that technology to identify whether it's really Paul or a bot on the other side of the screen. So the brands are getting what they expect out of their advertising budget.
Yeah, okay. I'm blown away. I'm trying to figure out. This is so incredible, Paul. So let me just make sure that I kind of like know a little technology here. There's geofencing, and that is kind of like when everybody's in the same room and it picks up on everybody's kind of like feed of their social media, whatever, and drops a little spot in their ad in there and wondering how that happens. So is that kind of like what a bot does in a way?
What a bot does, it mimics that human behavior. So there is basically these bots that are going to go out, and keep in mind, we all walk around with homing devices that are our cell phone or our laptop. So we're able to be identified to a certain degree based upon our online behavior. So these bots are created literally to mimic human behavior. So that at first glance, the advertiser says, oh, this is great. Paul is somebody who's going to tune into my show. Let me show them some highlights, and we want him to tune in. The issue is that it's not Paul on the other side. It's actually a bot that, like I said earlier, very hard to identify that. So that's really where our focus has been, is building that technology in that split second to say, hey, don't buy that advertisement because that's not really Paul.
Wow. See, this is all mind-blowing, but this is so important, for small businesses that are spending, quite a bit on that marketing compared to big companies that might go, okay, we'll do a write-off. So that's what you guys come in to help them fight this fraud, which is again, you said almost to $100 billion?
Correct. When you think about the size and the scope of it, eventually it's going to become one of the largest global crimes in the world because, it's really perpetrated by data engineers, computer scientists, where it could be anywhere in the world. And, our focus is making sure that brands, both large and small, they're getting exactly what they think they're spending their money on when they buy digital advertising.
So, okay, what kind of companies do you work with? Just so, because I know we were talking small and big and everything, but you work with a lot of different types of companies, don't you?
Yeah, it really runs the gamut from smaller agencies and brands all the way to some of the largest retailers in the world. Our focus is that, again, it doesn't matter, like you said earlier, whether it's a small mom and pop or a Fortune 100 company. Everybody should be able to get that same level of protection to ensure they're not being defrauded.
So, I'll tell you, Paul, you're blowing me away because, again, we're all trying to figure this with this whole technical world going on, and it's so crazy. But what's really crazy is that you just kind of like started this company recently in a way, as I'm understanding, and now you guys are, the sky's the limit for you, right?
Yeah, it's an exciting time. Obviously, the adoption of mobile devices and everybody's online, especially with COVID-19, we've seen a huge uptick in, everybody's basically trying to figure out how to get online and get information. So it's been, helpful for us. Obviously, as everybody struggles through this, we, knock on wood, we see some light at the end of the tunnel there. But, the uptick in the web traffic, we've seen a real uptick also in a lot of the fraud, because more and more brands are trying to reach their audience when they're either on their laptop or cell phone or tablet. So we think it's even more relevant that we can help with the fraud.
Wow, I'm just totally amazed with this. Now I learned what a bot is, so now I'm like in that world because I'm learning bots, geofencing. Any other technical I need to know as I try to explain?
Yeah, people usually are excited to learn about, well, us, nerds are excited to learn about when a website loads, how many different things are happening in the background. So like I mentioned earlier, when a website loads, whether your local station, when that website loads, there's about 300 milliseconds where all of these different technologies have to communicate, as fast as you could blink your eye to understand who's on the website, and then they basically auction off that advertisement to all these different brands. And somebody finally raises their hand and says, hey, I want to place my ad there. So, we operate in a very, very unique window of time where, microseconds, milliseconds start to matter.
Wow. Paul, you just blow me away. Already, this morning I'm already got knowledge. I love it. All right. Tell people how they can find out more about what you guys are doing in the company.
Sure. We're a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. The symbol is KBNT. And you could also visit us on the internet at Kubient.com. And if you ever have any questions, if you're a brand or somebody wants to learn more about the technology, you can reach us at info@Kubient.com.
So I like it. And Paul, next time we talk, let me know Kubient. We're gonna have a good story. Kubient, something where you're fishing.
I need your help there. I need your help. We were in a town called Kubient. And we were,
hanging out. We got some bots and some geofencing. Right. It was just crazy. So
I like it. Let me write that down.
All right. Paul, thank you very much for joining us.
Enjoy your week. Thank you.